All right, welcome to another episode of Most Man. Please subscribe, share, comment. We need some comments, baby.
Ring the bell.
Yep, ring the bell. We're trying to get up to 50 subscribers so we can start doing some lives, which we can really crank this up and start making it funner. We are also on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia. Website is themostmenclub.com. themostmen, M-E-N, themostmen.com. Info at themostmen.com. If you want to email, send us any ideas, if you want to contact us, anything like that. So, how we doing?
Hey, they ought to get him on the ground floor of this before it gets crowded.
Man kit. I'm in the process of getting all. I've got all the man cards made. I might be revamping it a little bit, just so it's read better. But I'm getting the man kits built right now. So, and again, the podcast isn't a money grab. You know, the man kits are going to be cheap and fun. You get your man card, you get your balls back, you get your 12-step recovery program to retain and maintain. And then it's going to have some cool swag. They've got some cool stuff that I've been looking at. So
yeah, I remember 20, 30 years ago, you got a koozie and a bottle opener. Nah, we got to, this is the men's club, baby.
It's
2000s, man. We can do better than that.
Oh, no, they've got some cool shit out now. They have got some cool stuff out there now. And the guys that I'm working with, they're smart and they're creative. And the promo company that I'm working with, they're like, I mean, they're in it. Like they've got some cool ideas.
Yeah, I know you'll come over the top with something.
Oh yeah. Well, that's as soon as I sell this place, that's what I'm gonna do, a big money dump. That's some, I don't want to cheap out on it right now. I want it to all be cool quality stuff that people actually use.
Yeah, you don't want to get a reputation of the people go, oh yeah, I heard of that. Yeah, I got some crap. No, it was just crap in the beginning. Nah, you got to do it right.
Oh yeah. Well, when you join the men's club, join themensclub.com. That dovetails into the Most Man. But this is the men's club, baby. This is where it's happening on the podcast. This is where we have fun. That's why we're wanting to get up to 50 subscribers. Obviously, way more than that. But wanting to get up to 50 subscribers so we can start doing this live to where everybody can be engaged. And that way, and we're going to be more mindful of keeping them in a timely, the ones that we just let our hair down and have fun on. That's it is what it is.
You mean we're going to have structure?
We're going to have some structure.
Oh man,
a little bit of structure.
All right, I can live with that.
No, but the first thing I want to talk about today is I've been researching this guy. And it's this guy, his name's Wim Hof. I told you a little bit about him the other day.
Yeah, I never heard of this. So
this guy, I think he's from Poland. Okay, but what happened was he's known as the Iceman. Okay, he ran to the top of the hill. He ran to the top of Mount Everest in his underwear, and then he did it again in his bathing suit. I think he tried to do it barefooted. He's got
to be from Poland. I'm from Poland, so I can say it. Or my family is anyway.
Yeah, but you know how we always used to think, man, those crazy freaking Europeans over there jumping in the ice water, or when it's freezing,
from a sauna to the ice water to boot.
Yeah, okay, so this guy, they've been studying him for years because he did a world record again they buried him in ice water up to his neck for 3 hours. He swam well, let me just tell you why I'm checking this guy out, because it helped me immensely this last week and this week. And I've been doing research on this because, I don't know if you're up to speed with, but I'm real involved in the I'm not involved in the UFC, but I'm into the UFC. So they've brought in and athletes have always taken ice baths for inflammation. I mean, that's been around for forever, but now they're like getting serious to where they're getting the water down to, 10, 15 degrees. I mean, it's cold.
It wasn't cold enough with ice in it. Now they need super ice cold water.
Yeah. So, but what they're finding out, well, number one, it's good for inflammation. It's good for your recovery. Okay. But the main thing is mental health. Okay. So I've been taking cold showers for the last 2 weeks. Even when it was freezing ass cold out here, I was taking cold showers. Because it's something about, but you got to kind of pre-work. You can't just go jump in the ice.
No. I was sitting over here thinking I'd be in there with a bowl of soup or something if I'm doing that.
We can't just go. You got to acclimate your body to get to it. But they've got these cold plunges now and all this other stuff. But anyway, my point is, I noticed that my mood, even though I was freezing and it was uncomfortable when I first started doing it, my mood was, I was in a zen. You know what I mean? Like my day just went calmer. It lowered the temperature of how I normally am, revved up in the morning. I'm one of those guys that jump, when it was time to get out of bed, I jump out of bed. It's time to go. But this kind of just lowers it a notch. And you're kind of just
yeah, you were close to death.
No, not in the shower. No. But what I'm getting at is that I've been doing a lot of research on all these guys that are doing it. Just regular people. They'll just go buy a deep freeze. It's the easiest and cheapest way to do it, is go buy a deep freezer, a big one that you can fit in, and fill it full of water and plug it in.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm going to do it.
Oh my God. Put it on a GFI outlet just to be safe. Yeah. Well, I did some AC work for some people that had a cryo lab kind of thing, and so they had all them what is it? Liquid nitrogen tanks and all kinds of stuff. So
it's the same thing.
But they're popping up in like the rich part of town. You don't have that going on.
Yeah, those cryo chambers are expensive. Even if it's like a tanning salon, but it's a cryo. Yeah, it's a salon.
I have no idea what is it. A half hour, an hour. Do you do it? Is it $100 a half hour? I have no idea.
I don't either.
But this was in it was a shopping center, but the inside, I mean, you could tell they put a bunch of money into it, so it wasn't just some kind of chump little thing. I mean, they were catering to some high clientele.
They've been studying this guy's blood for the last 20 some odd years. I mean, they've really been studying this guy. And doing all this ice stuff and all that, I don't want to speak but there's a lot of blood benefits, like a lot of proteins. It fights infections. Like they were doing a test on him while he was, submerged in an ice tank, and they injected him with the flu. They injected him with viruses, and he beat them. His blood, something about how it goes into, because your body, it's not in survival mode, but it's in fight or flight mode. So your body attacks whatever is negative coming in. It's an automatic, instant attack. So that's what I'm saying about mental health, all that, because this is how he got started. Crazy story. Okay, so you might want to.
That's what we're here for. We need some crazy stories.
Yeah, but it's so much positive that came out of it. Okay, so from Poland, wife, 4 kids. I don't know how old his kids were, but they were young. And his wife just one day, she never said anything to him like that she was, loco or crazy, or she was feeling like committing suicide and all this other stuff. She just went outside, and they lived on the 8th floor of their complex or apartment or condo, whatever, however they live over there. They live vertical. We live horizontal. But she jumped off and killed herself, just out of nowhere. So here he was, how we are men, You throw us into the raising 4 kids. I mean, the women naturally do that. That's hard for us to adapt to that. We don't immediately nurture, you know? So he was going through this major, like, depression, and he wasn't like, I was going to commit suicide. He goes, I had 4 kids to take care of, but he was really fucked up in the head. Like, I mean, he was just, number one, she was his soulmate. You know, like, it wasn't like they weren't in love. They were in love. They were happy. They, you know, like, this was his soulmate. Okay? So he started doing these challenges, not knowing what he was going to get himself into. But he was trying to get into meditating and all blah, 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 all these other methods or whatever. He was already methodical to begin with. But he was like, you know, cold.
Poland's pretty cold.
It's cold. So. And so, but jumping in the ocean when it's cold, well, it was all froze over, or it was a lake that was frozen over. And he was sitting over there meditating. And all of a sudden he woke up and he was like, I wonder what it's like to submerge myself in that water. He took his axe over there and chopped a 3x3 hole. Okay. And it wasn't to where it was deep enough to where he could stand up and get out. He didn't, because he didn't know what he was doing at first. But he got in and totally submerged himself. And his whole body went into shock. Well, he got it, and I can't remember how long he stayed under, but he stayed under for a little while. And he got out, and just the next couple of days, he was like, I haven't been thinking about the pain of losing my wife as much. Because when you're that's what he said. When you get in water that cold, or you're in a situation where you're that cold, all you're thinking about is surviving. Everything else goes out the window. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah, you're not thinking of it, but anything. But number one, I either got to control my breathing. My body's got to adapt to this. It all that goes out the window. So that's what I'm saying. After you get out, your body's already your brain. You've gone to sections of your brain that's not ever been used before. And that's where the focus is. And that's the endorphin and the release that you get is your body getting happier as it's getting warmer. You see what I'm saying? So you're in a better mood. That's what they've discovered about this whole cold plunge and all of that.
So you invented frozen yoga or something.
Yeah.
Like hitting your thumb with the hammer to forget about something. He jumped in a freaking frozen lake.
So he kept going and going and going and going and going and going. And now it's called the Wim Hof Method. And he's got all sorts of famous people, athletes that go over there that get into this method. He's crazy.
Bikram yoga.
Oh, he's
of frozen ponds.
The Iceman. Yeah. I mean, oh yeah, he's got this. Tim is talking about Bikram, the yoga. What do they call it? The yoga meister in L.A. That.
Yeah, Mark turned me on to this guy. He said, "Didn't you ever see those Bikram studios and shopping centers?" I'm like, no, not really. Then I started noticing. Yeah, they exist. And he goes, "You know anything about this guy?" I'm like, "No." So he sent me the link to some video, and it was off the wall, man. And so that's kind of funny. The frozen Bikram.
Yeah, he walked around in his fucking panties. Got a big old fucking balls, and
telling everybody, you need Bikram.
Yeah. You need Bikram in your life. But he would get up to the women and just like ram his crotch into their rear end while they're all bent over. He's like, you need to flex more.
I thought it was some Saturday Night Live skit.
No,
this is legit.
This guy's legit crazy. Hilarious at the same time, though. People loved him, though. But anyway, back to Wim. Wim. So I did this. He does breathing treatments too, or breath exercises. So I did this the other night, and same thing, man. And this is just stage 1 of stage 3. You got to build yourself up to stage 3. But stage one was 30, and you got to blow it out hard. You know, like you want to 30 hard reps of that. And by 15, 18, 20, if you're really giving it your all, you're the
room's spinning.
Yeah, you're gone upstairs. And then you get to 30 and you take a huge breath, the biggest breath you can take in, push it out as far as you can push it out, take one more in, and then push it out, and then just sit. But what it does is it pumps so much oxygen into your blood and your brain. That, not just like, people with a paper bag. No, this is, he's the in, out, like Miyagi. He gets into it. Breathe in, breathe out. He's a Wim Hof, baby. You got to check him out. So I did that, and I held my breath the first time for 60 seconds, then the second time for 90 seconds. And I didn't even feel like I needed to breathe. It was the weirdest thing. But you go into a euphoric state of, that's why I didn't do more than, 90 seconds, because I want somebody here if I'm going to pass out. But if you get to stage 3, you go for like 3 to 5 minutes. He's got YouTube videos on people going up there, and they've never done it before. Never done his breathing treatments before. But he's in there watching, but just the first step, I'm talking, man, I went somewhere. It wasn't like I was hallucinating, but it was a very euphoric feeling that when I took my first breath in, I was like, whoa, that was powerful. And man, the next morning, and I slept real good that night too. And I woke up the next morning feeling like a freaking animal, dude. I mean, I felt alive. Like I've never woke up before. It was a totally different feeling, man. I was like, whoa. Not like aggressive, but primal. And that's what he says about this breathing, is it's you're getting to the parts of your brain that you don't ever get to. And if you exercise it and do it like when those guys will go, they've never done his breathing treatments techniques before at all, and they'll hold their breath for 3 to 5 minutes, and they get into dream world. Like when they wake up, like they're out. They're out. They're not like unconscious, but they're not there. They're out in La La Land.
Well, don't try this driving, stuck in rush hour. I'll just do some breathing. How come you wrecked? I was breathing and driving, man.
I was doing the Wim Hof method. In, out, breathe in, breathe out. And then while you're doing it, he's over there going, ooh, chka, ooh, chka, ooh, chka, ooh, chka. And when they're in their ice baths, that's what he's over there doing. Ooh, chka, ooh, chka. Because he just gets them into this mental.
I gotta look into this.
Oh, it's crazy, but it's so interesting, man. But all these MMA guys and all these athletes, they're really up in this game. There's companies that sell them, and they're expensive ice bathtubs.
I despise cold water. I absolutely always have. Growing up in Cleveland, I mean, winter was 6 months longer than it should have been.
Well, but there's a lot of people out. There's a lot of people out there. That's the reason why I brought it up. Is there's a lot of people out there. They've been testing these, people that are suicidal and just people that are they're not there. They're depressed. There's a lot of people out there that are.
What about the PSD?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, you never see depressed Eskimos. They're probably too busy trying to kill the next seal to eat or something.
Or they're drunk. Eskimos are my dad said that Eskimos are some of the nastiest drunks you've ever seen in your life.
Because they're freezing.
But if you do if this whole cold thing on a consistent basis, it drags people out of depression and, and he's got over a couple million people following him and doing his method.
I mean, do you got to do the frozen thing, or can you just cold water give you some benefits?
Cold water gives you some, cold showers give you a lot of good benefits. I've felt a hell of a lot better since I've been taking cold showers. And I was talking to my attorney about this, and he's like, "Man, I've been taking cold showers because he used to be that was back in the heyday whenever when I was full throttle Mark, business, grow. I was full throttle. He was full throttle. We're the same age, and we were both like, man. And he started hiking and doing stuff. He was like, I don't want to live like this anymore, man. And I told him, I said, he was more revved up than I was. I was like, dude, if you don't calm down, you're going to have a heart attack. Like you need a notch, just one. I mean, you're at 12. Just dial it back to 10. Because attorneys, think about it. That's all they do is argue. So it became normal. And just me and him having a conversation. It was just like, man, we're just having a business conversation. We're not in court, man. Calm down. But he said he's been taking cold showers for 3 years, and it totally changed his whole regimen.
Yeah, I'm a hard sell on that, but
try it. I'm not kidding. It's uncomfortable for about 10 seconds, and then your body it's over. But then heat yourself back up. Because it's good. That's like you say, going from sauna to cold. That's the new thing that is the new thing.
Well, that's the old thing they used to do that.
No.
100 years ago.
But it's new to where they're going they crank them saunas up as high as they go. And then as soon as they get out of the sauna, they're jumping into, they're jumping into not just cold water, cold ass water.
Yeah, that was big up there in like Finland or Norway or Sweden or whatever. All up in there is where.
Right, but what I'm saying here in the States.
Yeah, but I'm saying they've been doing that for 100-some years.
Right. Well, even the Polish people and all, that's what I'm saying. He's had a relationship with ice. He used to, not ice, just ice, but listen to this story. He broke the world record for swimming under a lake, like a sheet of, they cut 2 holes in the lake, jumped in, swam underneath, probably 8 or 10 inches of ice, whatever it was. And he had to go 50 meters to get to the next hole. And he had his strokes planned. He needed, I think he said it was 60 strokes or something. Anyway, he had his strokes planned to where he would know that he was getting close of something. Because he said halfway through, his eyes froze over. He couldn't see. His pupils froze.
That ain't good.
Well, he swam past the hole. So he's like, man, I did too many strokes. I got to go back. Well, when he went back and right. And he's trying to find the hole, and he couldn't find the hole. And he did his breathing, he did his breath stuff before he did it to where he could hold his breath for however long he needed to hold his breath. But a diver had to finally go in there and get him because he was sinking to the bottom. They had a rope tied around his waist too to drag him back out if they had to. Dude's nuts.
Yeah, the rescue people are like, we ain't getting in that cold water. We'll just drag him back with a rope.
But he said that obviously the heat is the devil and cold is God. And he said because he went into a euphoric state to where he had another relationship with his wife. He said, you have to watch the video. I can't explain exactly how he explained it, but he had an epiphany or whatever you call them,
Yeah.
He had Like his wife came down and touched him, and that's when he knew that he was gonna live.
That's a crazy story.
It is. He is a super, super, super unique guy. Even if you just check out some of his stuff, I mean, I'm not saying you gotta breathe in, breathe out. Yeah, no, that one hurt. Need some lemon water.
That's funny. All right, so
Wim Hof. So, but no, it's something that
he's making money doing this. I
yeah,
take it.
Yeah, but
he's got like studios or anything, or is it all just online, or is he still in Poland, or he's got the hell out of there?
No, he's still over there.
Well, he probably grew up behind the Iron Curtain and all that,
Well,
when he was a kid.
Well, he's got his house, and then he's got places to where people can stay and all that, because he's got a waterfall in his backyard that they go jump off this. It's not a mountain, but it's a cliff. They get in their underwear, jump off this cliff into freaking water that's, I don't know, 5 degrees, and they stand in there for 10 minutes. When they get out, you can see that the skin's white or tan or whatever, but then their skin is red, bright red, because that's your body, adapting to the shock.
Yeah, I'll ease into this whole thing if I dabble.
Well, I think that it took a day for their blood to warm back up. Joe Rogan was talking about this, that he did his ice bath for 30 minutes. He had never gotten to 30 minutes before, and now he lives in Austin. Okay, so this was in the summertime, Austin, Texas heat. He said he was driving down the road, at 2:00 in the afternoon, with his windows down. It was 100 degrees outside, with a hoodie on, and he was freezing and shivering to death because his body was still so cold. With the heater on in his car going just like.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound healthy. It just
they're doing it, and Rogan's a health nut, man. He's got the pros that can tell you that he's got the best people on the planet. Just like the UFC, that Performance Institute that they built. Yeah.
I believe you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, that's the whole point of, they get bitched at for fighter pay and all this kind of stuff here. And, they've got these PIs, Performance Institutes, all over the world. And the fighters go in there, they've got 24-hour restaurants, you know what I mean, to where they go in there and get exactly the nutrition that they need, They've got the best facilities they've got an underwater treadmill where you run. There's a treadmill underwater. You're up to your, mid-chest to where you're running in the water on this treadmill.
Yeah, I got swim flumes and that with pumps where you just swim in place, without going anywhere.
Yeah, no, there's all sorts of. I'm just saying, but I've never seen a treadmill underwater. But they've got all this. They've got all this wicked shit that we hadn't seen anywhere here before, or in a regular gym. But all those UFC fighters. They're not just like basketball players, football players, and all that stuff. They're just into explosiveness and all that. Those guys have got to build their body to fight for 25 minutes, man. People gas out in 3 minutes in a fight. Those people fight for 25 minutes.
Well, that hospital I worked at, they had a swim flume, a hyperbaric deal. They had NASA would train there, and they would check how much oxygen. Like if you took a breath, then they would measure what you exhaled, how much oxygen was in. How much was the percentage of oxygen in the air compared to exhaling, and because
that's what these are. They've got doctors and all that.
All these Olympic athletes that do this stuff, and like Mount Everest type people, because some people are just gifted, predisposed to not be messed with, by altitude more than others, or it takes some people longer to acclimate to it than others.
Yeah.
So it's a definite science.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, but they've got like the NFL and all those. They're like, we need to do this. They send their players there too. You know, like some of the NBA, NFL, they send their players there because it's that state of the art.
Well, like when people go to play in Denver, you know, it's only a mile high, but you run up and down a basketball court
in Utah,
and you're not from Denver or living up there. Yeah, it tears you up.
Yeah, I think the last UFC fight they had I think it was Utah, either that or
Salt Lake City or something.
Yeah, I think it was Salt Lake City. Yeah, and Luke Rockhold gassed out in the third round. He was like, "Fuck, I've never been so." But what happened? Something happened to where he couldn't get there on time, and he couldn't acclimate to the weather. And he was like, "God Almighty, it's real." You know what I mean? Like it's something happened where he just gassed out in the third round.
Oh, I know it's real. I was playing golf up there in Breckenridge or something many years ago, and it was cart path only on this one particular hole. So I run out to the middle of the fairway with my 7-iron or whatever. I'm like, oh, hell, I need my 8-iron. So I kind of ran back to the cart and ran back out to my ball, probably like 20 yards each way. I got over my ball to hit it, and I was like, well, man, wait a minute, man. I gotta regroup here a minute. It gassed me just going from the cart to the fairway, back to the cart, back to the ball. That 60 yards tops is what I kind of just jogged.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was freaking seeing stars damn near.
That's crazy.
Oh, sounded like...
Hey, we're doing a podcast in here, man.
Sounded like thunder or something, but it was a garage door.
Yeah, it's my son.
Yep, there you go.
Dirt bike rider, a dirt bike kid.
So what's the next topic? Anything on your mind?
Yeah, got a few things. How long we been on?
Well, tell them how to find us again. Get the band card.
Yep. So YouTube, like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow, share, comments. Then we're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia, audio only. We're working on video for Spotify. We're about to be on Rumble too. You know what Rumble is?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're taking off, man. That's a new, well, I'm looking forward to that. themostmen.com and jointhemensclub.com and info at themensclub.com. MEN.
Yeah. I really want some comments. The comments are fun.
Yeah.
So
I just can't wait to do lives.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's going to get fun.
Live comments, even better.
Well, I mean, we can bring people in on Zoom, or like, because all these laptops now have a camera to where you can just sync up and go straight through your camera and link right in.
Heck, they do it on the national news now and everything. You know, they're always interviewing people, and they're in their living rooms and such. In the old days, you know, none of that went on.
Yeah, no,
it's the world we live in now.
Yep. So, shut that door now. He doesn't give a damn. I got a 13-year-old son that thinks he's the next
Evel Knievel.
No, he follows his kid Hayden Deegan. That's the new Supercross superstar that's coming out. He's 16 years old in the 250 class, and he's kicking ass. I mean, he's kicking the adults' ass. He's good. He's gonna be the next. He'll be the next big deal.
All right.
So, a couple things on my mind. I just don't want to. I don't want to overextend this one. I don't want to go over an hour.
Well, I got a quickie for you. We were talking NASCAR the other day. So I dug out of my closet an old Ricky Rudd shout out to any Ricky Rudd fans out there. Nice, colorful shirt. I figured I'd wear something that stuck out a little bit.
Is NASCAR even on the level of what it used to be?
No, it's crap.
I haven't watched NASCAR in forever.
I used to go to races all the time. I hadn't been. I went to a few last year, but Talladega and the Bristol dirt race. Heck, I don't even go to the Texas Motor Speedway, and it's up the frickin' street. That's some of the saddest racing going over there.
What happened to it?
They turned it into like an IROC. You remember the IROC series where everybody got the same car? And so a Chevy, a Toyota, and a Ford now are all the same identical car, you know? It's just...
Who can draft better?
Yeah, I mean, you can unbolt the part off of one and put it on the other, and it's just... I don't know, man. The big money teams win because they can just...
dominate.
Yeah, you know, it's just... I don't know. I go for the party. The infield party's a blast. The parking lot's a blast. But as far as just the racing goes,
yeah,
it's just not what it used to be.
Well, that's one of the topics that I have is just the societal shift that we are in right now. We're in a major societal shift, it feels like. Does it feel like that to you?
Well, in going to a race now, I kind of like it because nobody's there. I mean, in the old days, it was a bitch to park. It was a bitch to get tickets. It was a bitch to get in. It was a bitch to go to the pisser. Everything about it was a pain in the ass because it was just packed.
No, but I'm not talking about NASCAR. I'm talking about the world in general. I feel like I feel like something really.
Well, here's one for you. You know, big screen TVs. I mean, why go to a racetrack when you're going to be 500 miles away from the track when you can sit in your living room and watch it on a 60-inch wide TV? So the same thing's probably with football and, you know, just sports in general, man. These TVs are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then your sound system and, you know, you can watch a concert with surround sound or something. I mean, it's fabulous sound and the whole bit. You know?
Yeah.
So the societal thing's changing where you can.
No, I'm talking.
You can kick ass in your own living room, and you don't even got to go drag your ass to all of this stuff.
Yeah, but I'm talking about. I feel like something big is going to happen in the next 15, 20 years.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think I'm not. I don't want to get on here and do the whole World War shit and all that. That's not what I'm saying, but
you better be ready for anything and everything.
Yeah, man. I mean, that shit's getting real. I mean,
and if you're waiting for the government to save your ass, you better have some food, some water. You better have a backup plan. I mean, if you live in a city with 8 million people and you live on the 60th floor, I mean, if something stupid happens, you and all your neighbors are in the same boat. Where's your food coming from? Oh, there's a grocery store down at the corner. Yeah, how long is that going to last? You better be prepared to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. I'm not a prepper.
But who knows? Yeah, you don't know if it's a new virus. You know, who saw COVID coming? Look what that did.
Well, that was planned. That was man-made.
Well, it's just it's irrelevant how it affected.
We got to be careful what we talk about on COVID on YouTube. Yeah, so
no. But my point is, it's irrelevant how it got here. It got here. And we were left to deal with it as a society. And some people dealt with it better than others. If you lived out in the country, it didn't affect you anywhere near as much as if you lived in downtown New York City.
Well, there's another thing. Take COVID. That's what I'm saying. COVID's they'll shut your whole channel down because they don't want your opinion on it. If you've got a different opinion, they'll shut their whole channel down. There's been several. My
opinion was you had to deal with it. No matter what.
Okay.
That's not too out there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's one topic that just needs to stay out of the a lot of big people have gotten their shit canceled just for talking about having their opinion on COVID. So, but I'm talking the new thing, and I'm sure you've heard about it because they're talking a lot about it on the radio, but it's on the internet too. But these huge Chinese corporations that are buying up all of our land here, man. I mean, they used to do it before. We knew they were doing it, but man, they're buying up shit around our nuclear power, you know, like where we build nuclear weapons and shit. And I mean, they're buying some land around stuff that we don't need the Chinese buying that land.
We're idiots. That's my take.
Well, it's just like
we do such stupid shit on a regular basis. Nothing shocks me anymore.
It's just like the balloons. I don't care if they're recreational or they're just lying to us about the balloons, the spy balloons or whatever you want to call them, recreational balloons, whatever. Why in the hell in the United States, when we've got airplanes, who knows how many airplanes are in the sky at one time? You can't tell me that they can't figure out that they've got something moving across our... That thing was big.
Yeah, it wasn't even like camouflage, like, painted blue to blend into the sky. It was a big white balloon.
It was huge.
Like a sore thumb.
And you got some dude on a ranch that's like, "Hey, man, what's that?" And he figured out a way to see it when he got his camera and zoomed in and was like, "What the hell is that?" Shit. I mean, we're not going to get going down the politic road, but I'm just saying I feel like something, that's a topic that I want to talk about, I feel like something big's happening. There's a societal shift happening right now. That's why I brought up Wim Hof, is because there's all these new methods that are coming out in health that it's just like you can heal your body so much better naturally than just taking a bunch of shit that doctors are giving you. There's so many natural ways to do it, and if you do it, like I said, Wim Hof is a perfect example. They injected him with viruses, and it was something more than just a virus. It was something intense, and he knocked it, beat it. Didn't even affect him.
Yeah, I'm not on any medications or anything. I'm 60 years old. My wife's 58. Neither one of us have ever been on any kind of prescription drugs or anything like that.
But you've lived a pretty mellow life.
But I'm just saying, there's people. One of her friends said, "What do you mean you're not on any kind of meds? Your husband either?" No, neither one of us. How's that possible? They're like 55 and they got 8 pill bottles on the counter from all these prescriptions. And it's almost like once you start taking one thing, then something else happens to you.
That's exactly.
And then they give you a pill for that. And then before you know it, you're just chasing your tail.
That's why I'm wanting to get off this medication that I'm on.
And you're poisoning the shit out of yourself.
As soon as I started taking this medicine that I'm taking now, well, number one, I got this dry cough. It's not a runny nose, but my nose, it feels like, but it's worse in the wintertime. In the summertime, it's not that big of a deal, but in the wintertime, it gets, but as soon as I started taking that medicine, I started getting gout. Have you ever had gout before?
No, a buddy of mine gets it.
Oh, good God,
yeah,
man. I went to the doctor 3 times. Said, "You need to check your fucking x-ray machine. My foot is broken. I'm telling you. Broke. It hurts. Gout. Take a broken bone, and that's not even the level of pain we're talking here. Okay, you can't even put the sheet over your foot without it going. You know what I mean? Like when I first started getting it, my ex-wife would put, she would ice my foot down for me, or just putting the ice on there was like smacking your finger with a hammer. That painful.
Yeah, back in the old days, kings and such always got gout because, they had the feast, they'd always eat red meat, and they had all the booze they wanted. And now that, modern science will say, how do you deal with gout? Lay off the booze, lay off the red meat. But back in the old days, that was what, rich people.
Yeah, that's all they ate was
royalty, we're eating meat because we can.
But that's another one right there that's proven a lot of that shit wrong. Is people are on meat only diets and losing a ton of weight, getting off their blood pressure medication, all sorts of. Michaela Peter, who Jordan Peterson is?
No.
Okay, well he's this new. Well, he's not new, but I can't believe you don't know who he is. He's huge. He's
huge where?
On the internet and just in general. He's a Canadian clinical psychologist, and he's the one that bucked the system up in Canada whenever they were doing the Z's, Zins.
Oh, okay.
All those.
I've heard of this guy. He was on Rogan a while back. I caught a little bit of that.
Yeah. So, but his daughter had rheumatoid arthritis, and she had all these other but she was such in pain. She was depressed all the time. Okay, because she always breaking out in rashes, always this rheumatoid. Had to have my hip replaced when I was 18 years old or 16, whatever. And she tried all these different diets and all these pills and all this shit. Doctors told her this. It was never going to get better and blah, 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 blah. Well, she started, because that's the whole thing of what I'm talking about, food. When I was the PI, the UFC, that's the example of the PI. They've got the cleanest. Those fighters eat clean when they're in their fight camps and doing all their stuff. They eat the cleanest foods that you can, cleanest, natural, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, I'm going to change my diet, eat clean, no more carbs, no more bread, no more blah, 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 blah. And it started slowly getting better and better and better. And then there were certain vegetables that she couldn't eat or she would have a flare-up. And she got down to meat, water, and broccoli, and that's all she does. And she lost a ton of weight. Doesn't have arthritis anymore. Doesn't have these rashes. Doesn't have, depression and all. Well, the depression was because she was in pain all the time. And Jordan did the same thing because his wife went through a lot of, she got cancer, and he went through a lot of stuff, and they put him on some antidepressant pill that he told the doctor, he said, I don't want that. I don't want, I'll muscle through this. This is what I do. This is what I tell people how to get through is depression and blah, blah, I don't want that. They somehow got him talked into taking it. And he was suicidal. He was like went way downhill. And he did the same thing. Went on a meat-only diet, lost a bunch of weight because I'm just there. You don't have to just go to meat, but I'm just there's all these clean.
Yeah, you can because people like in the Yukon, they die. There's some disease you get, like if they're just eating rabbits or something, because it's the only food you could catch. After a couple months of just eating the same kind of protein, your body, doesn't like it. You got to have some other nutrients in there. I mean, you can't get everything you need out of a frickin' rabbit.
Well, I'm not talking about rabbits. I'm talking about cows.
Well, protein. I'm just saying meat, protein.
Yeah, but
if you just ate nothing but that same thing.
Well, look up the carnivore diet. There's hundreds of thousands of people proving you wrong every day. It's huge right now. Rogan's a big meat eater. Like he did the meat only. I've done the meat only for a month. You better be prepared to be by a toilet the first week. I guarantee you that. Boy, once you eat and you get used to it, and man, same thing. I lost a lot of weight, mood, sleep, all of it. But I just got tired of chewing on meat. You know what I mean? It's like, what's for dinner again? Meat. Steak. What's for dinner? Steak. What's for dinner? A hamburger patty. And it's like, God, how about some celery and ranch? Or just saying, I love vegetables. I could live on Caesar salads if I had to. I like salads. I like vegetables. Like I make my own sauerkraut and I eat that. That's how I break my fast, is I'll eat a handful of sauerkraut. But at any rate, no, that's a big thing out there right now. The people are, and it's helped a lot of people. I couldn't do it. I don't like bread anymore. I don't like the way it makes me feel after I eat it. Same thing with sugar. I use stevia now instead of sugar or sweet and low or any of that kind of stuff. If me and my son went and got banana splits. And I had to take I felt like, I had to take a nap. Felt like pure hell. Yeah, I mean, I can choke down a hamburger, but I'll feel like hell for 30, 45 minutes. But you're just one of those guys that...
Maybe I'm just so used to eating crap, it doesn't bother me.
But no, you're one of those guys that can eat whatever the hell you want. You don't gain any weight. I mean, you go on binges of ice cream and whatever binges you go on. It's like, I gained 3 pounds. Well, it took him, he'd eat 15 gallons of ice cream.
I'm actually on the no ice cream diet at the moment. I'm trying to get down under 180. I'm at 183 or 4, floating around in there.
Well, it's not like you were eating an ice cream cone a day. You were going through...
I'd eat a half a gallon in a weekend, every weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And if I ate like that, get out of the... I'd be dead by now.
Yeah, I'd go to Tom Thumb and I'd get those strawberry shortcake things, and then I'd get a thing of whipped cream, the gooey, runny strawberries, and vanilla ice cream, and just make my own strawberry shortcake gargantuan thing. And I'd eat like one of them a day till the shit was gone. Yeah. But
yeah, I can't.
I'm sure it's not healthy.
Well, I can't eat. I just can't eat like that. I got friends and all that can. They drink Dr. Pepper all day and...
See, I don't drink any sodas. I drink unsweet iced tea with some lemon in it. I don't put any sweeteners or any of that. I don't add salt to any of my food. Hell, there's enough salt and everything.
Well, Boom's built like you, and Boom, it didn't matter what time of the day it was. He could have just choked down a double quarter pounder fries and a Coke and a milkshake and all of it. And you ask him an hour later, are you hungry? He's like, I'm always hungry. Yeah, let's get something to eat. What do you want? That was his answer. Anytime it's like, hey, are you hungry for lunch? I'm always hungry. Or he would be like, hey, when are we going to lunch? I'm starving. And like you, if he didn't eat, he'd be getting ready to pass out. Me, I like being hungry. I like the feeling of fasting. I like that, what it does to your...
Yeah, I like warm showers and food. You like hunger and ice water, man. See, we're opposite ends of the spectrum on that. That's why we got a good perspective here.
Yeah. We'll get into that on the next one. Have a few beers and kick back. But yeah, that's the Wim Hof was the one thing I wanted to get across, because that's he's helping a lot of people. And I'm just into those extreme things. I like that. Like when I was doing CrossFit, I like those extreme things. Like I did the Spartan Beast. It's 18 and a half miles with 30 something military obstacles. You got people breaking their legs. And
I had a buddy of mine, we ate lunch one time and at this diner, and he got the trash, it was called. So it was this big thing full of hash browns with eggs and sausage and bacon and gravy and biscuits and you name it, man. It's just the trash, the Blue Bonnet over there in Fort Worth. And so he calls me up that evening. Man, did you get food poisoning? I'm like, no. Oh, man, the food there's bad, man. I'm like, no, I eat there all the time. Then we get to the bottom of it. He did one of them, some super duper workout thing where he did, 80 push-ups and run and do. I mean, he like worked out till he puked, and then he's blaming it on the food. I was just laughing at him. Like, you can't work out for an hour, like full tilt. I can't think of the name of the workout that he did. It was like keto or something like that, but that wasn't what it was. But
Aikido. It's karate, or it's a martial art.
Yeah, whatever he did, he just did it for like an hour and a half until he, about passed out, and then he puked, and he blamed it on the food. It's like, I bet you wouldn't have puked if you just sat in a chair. Maybe don't eat a giant lunch and then go do extreme workouts. I guess that's the
he did it after he ate?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no wonder.
Exactly.
I was about to say, if he did it before, then
No.
No, okay, he did it after. Okay, I thought you were talking about he did it before. No, shit.
He's blaming it on food poisoning.
No, I'm looking for food after I work, especially a CrossFit, because, man, you burn 800 calories to 1,000 calories in like 10 to 12 minutes. It's full on. I mean, your heart rate is, and you're looking for food after that. I mean, you're, that it'd be like, I mean, people out there know what. I don't need to explain it, but it worked until I hurt my back. Yeah, it. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to. Health is going to be my number one. 2023 was this was the year to get this off the ground, get out of this place, and just do the hard reset. Hell, I may even quit drinking for 6 months. Just give it a 6-month power break.
Yeah, that'd be good for you.
Yeah, I've hit it hard for years, and it's just the first week for me is the problem. And I don't get it's not that, and I'm not like a serious drunk over here. That's not what I'm saying, but that's what I talked to my doctor about. He asked me, he said, why do you drink every day? And it's not like I get drunk every night. That's not what I'm getting at. I was like, well, I have to have something to wind me down. And I used to let them give me a sleeping pill, but all those horror stories that you hear about waking up in the middle of the night and not remember going in the kitchen and shoving a whole pizza down your throat, and waking up wondering why you got food all over you. And it happened to me. My daughter used to video. I didn't believe her. So she'd come out of her room and video me. She's like, what are you doing in here at 2 o'clock in the morning? She's like, you are so loud. Because her room's kind of by the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I was like, not me. She said, yes, she's like, you don't remember any of that? I even told you, go to bed. And you're like, I'm after I get done, I'm going. Yes, I told you so. I'm not taking those things anymore. I don't like taking any of that crap. But it's just the first week of getting acclimated to the sleep. I can't fall asleep. So I'll stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just because my mind is still just going. The alcohol just takes it down a notch, and then I'll drink a little bit, and then when you stop, you know how you get tired? That's when I go to bed, and I fall right asleep.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. If I drink, then I'll fall asleep at 10 or 11 o'clock, and I'll wake up at 2 o'clock just wide awake, and it drives me nuts. And if I don't drink at all, I sleep right through the night. So it's totally backwards from.
Yeah, no, I'm the opposite. No, it takes me a week for my body to know that it's tired, and then it's game on after that. I can fall. Take a little bit of melatonin or something just to knock the edge off. And you ever taken a melatonin before?
No.
They're pretty sweet. It's not good to take them because then your body doesn't produce it naturally like it's supposed to. But it's a natural. It's what puts you to sleep when you're feeling tired. That's the tired feeling that you're about to fall asleep. That's what it feels like after you take one. It gives you that feeling to where you can just kind of lay there, relax, and just. So, my son ate a whole bottle of melatonin one time when he was like. I think he was like 3. And my wife called me and she's like, oh my God. She said, I don't know if he ate all of them, but the whole bottle's empty and it's open on the countertop. So she called the doctor and all that. And the doctor was just like, well, did he take anything else? And she's like, no. He said, well, you can bring him in if you want, but he's going to sleep for a couple days. And he did. He slept for easily 2 days. Hard. Mouth wide open, just. I was like, God Almighty, man! Ate a whole bottle because they're chewable. You chew them, and they taste good. They make them to where they taste like cherry, or because if you got to give a kid one, they want it to taste like a piece of candy.
Like the Odd Couple movie, he's like, he took a whole bottle. It's like, well, a bottle of what? Well, we don't know, but it was a whole bottle. And Walter Matthau goes, he could have taken vitamins. They could have been vitamins. He could be the healthiest one in the room. I love that line. And he took a whole bottle. It doesn't matter, I guess, if it's melatonin compared to something that'll kill you, it's a big difference. But
well, we didn't keep anything in the house that would, but it's like taking a whole bottle of NyQuil or something. That's not good.
No.
Yeah. So. Yep.
Lay off the whole bottles.
Yep.
That's the advice the show has.
Yeah. Well, let's end it on that. We're gonna do another one after this. So, but yeah, that's what I want. I feel like there's something big gonna happen in the next 10, 15 years, 20 years.
Or tomorrow.
There's a huge societal shift. Without getting into politics.
I've been sitting over here biting my tongue because.
Well, no. I just need to tell you what we can and can't talk about on here because they are serious about it. If you say some of the things that you're not supposed to say.
Well, there's your societal shift right there. You got to watch what you talk about.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, we could go on topic after topic after topic after topic, but here's what without getting into politics is about what scares me about our government right now is it's a bunch of old people up there that don't have a fucking clue what's happening right now. Not just in America. I'm talking about the societal shift of what's happening on the internet and how they're so out of touch with how these kids are actually, you know what I mean? And I'm not putting you in that age group, but you are in that age group to where you don't want to have to learn all the stuff, but it's happening. And there's a bunch of old people up there that are just like, it's America, And they're so focused on the stupidest shit, and they've got real problems on their hands. If they don't get this shit under control, we're going to have real problems on our hands. And
I'm just going to ride off into the sunset and watch the next generation deal with it because they're letting it happen and they're voting it in. And, hey, it's America. If they want to vote this stuff in, then they get to live with it.
Well, no, but my point with the government is, that's a whole other, if you vote, but the whole government, what the fuck has Lindsey Graham ever done? What the hell has Joe Biden ever done? All of those guys up there, they barely can tie their shoes, and they're up there running our country, and they've doing it and there's so much shit changing every day. And you got these old timers up there swatting flies off their feet in the evening. Well, been doing it this way 50 years. They're just gonna have to learn to live with it.
It's a big club up there. They all just go along to get along, and
fuck their club. Fuck their club. They're fucking up this place, man. If we don't fix this shit, this place is fucked. Let's end it on that.
Yep.
Okay. So please comment, like, subscribe, smash the ring button, ring the bell. Leave us some comments. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeart, themostmen.com, jointhemensclub.com, info@themostmen.com, and mostmen.com is the website. And we will be soon getting all of our man kits, all of our swag, all of our fun stuff, and just, please help us get to 50. Even if you don't have time to listen to it, we just need that one little extra surge just to get it there to where we can, again, start doing these lives. So we'll get into that on the next one. All right, let's get out of here.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
See you next time.
Have a good day.